we're living in extremely trying times. There is an undeniable undercurrent of fear and anxiety to our days at various levels. At BH, homes are our expertise. And since homes have become the center of our universe through this period of the pandemic, we thought about things that we can do for our mental health while we are stuck in lockdown. We are very happy to have you with us.
With my work, I use personality and behaviors to understand what is causing stress, all the physical symptoms of anxiety, where they come from. And once we study that, we start dealing with it by giving very simple, practical, everyday tools for you to go beyond it. 2020 was really tough, and when we first started talking about anxiety openly and giving people tools and methods, people came up with genuine personal stories which were really disturbing. But in last 2 months, what we are hearing is even worse. I'm not only talking about people who are struggling financially, I'm talking about everybody because of the news and the information out there. The stories are overwhelming. So people are constantly fighting their urges to not fall into the pit.
Especially because when you're stuck in the four walls of your home, there is no escape. There is no way to find any distraction outside, which is why we wanted to talk to you also about how is it that we make our home a safe space for us, whether we're living in a small apartment or we're lucky enough to live in a bigger house. How would you suggest that we do something like that?
It is not about the size of your house to begin with. We only require a corner that you can claim as yours, and that has to be cultivated. Everything that we interact with on a daily basis becomes part of our mentality and our attitudes. So at least for 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever is possible for you, take out that time and connect with yourself and stay in that inspirational zone. I suggest that if you have some role models, people you really connect with, some aspects of your life that you thought were really great, collect the memories of all those things and create a little area where you can just step into it. We are in a way programming our minds and in a way our attitudes to make sure that we do not sink as low as the situation is kind of creating it for us.
I've personally found that creating rituals and routines has really helped me deal with this. And I've created a space like that on my study desk. I've been also practicing meditation for many years. So I find that to be really a calming practice. And even now there are phases that I'm not able to meditate, especially when there's so much coming at you in terms of information and social media, which is where when I was looking at the practice that you have suggested, which you call graphotherapy, I sort of felt like it's a great practice to begin with when you are not able to sit down in one place and cross your legs and go into mudra and meditate. And if that's not something that comes naturally to you, picking up a pen and paper is definitely much easier.
So most of the time, meditation is understood as not having any thoughts in your mind, and that's not fully true, and also that does not happen. Most of the time when people try to achieve that, they fail or they feel that meditation is not for me. Now, the stroke of graphotherapy, we call it Kama Sutra because it allows you to be calm. It gives you the sense of connecting with your body with the help of micro movement like handwrite. Not any formation, but a specific formation, and repeating it with your breath coordinated movement, it creates induced calmness in moments. Now, I also call it handwriting yoga because in yoga, we use body movement and we regulate them with your breath. Similar mechanism is applicable with this handwriting stroke. It's very simple. You require to learn it in 5 steps, and that's all.
I have my pen and my book ready, and
Yes.
I'm always excited to learn new modalities that can help us with mental health. It's more so at a time like this.
So when you start the stroke, you always start from the top, which means the S formation begins at the top. So never with a long tail. It ends at the bottom here, never with a tail. All the loops must be open. That is your point number 3. Fourth point is when you're doing the stroke, at some point your hand will stop naturally. Do not drag your hand further. The fifth point, which is like the most important one, is when you're doing this practice, breathe slightly deeper than your normal breath. And if we are saying that this is anti-anxiety or counter-anxiety stroke, then when you feel anxious, it is more difficult for you to do it because it is kind of breaking your patterns. So it's natural to struggle with it in the beginning.
Would this be right?
That's perfect, but 3 points it is missing on. the flow cannot go that long. So your hand somewhere stopped and you kind of readjusted for your movement to go, right? So that the where your hand stopped, the point where you move to the next one. That's one. Second one is at the end, it ended in the air. It has to end on the line.
Okay.
And did you pay attention to your breath?
No. What leads to anxiety is also sort of not being able to let go of control.
Perfectionism, not being able to pay attention in the moment to the activity that we are doing, because mind is running either in the past memories or in the future. You got to do at least 1 page a day for 21 days. If you do it, nothing like it. But if not, then at least 7 days to decide whether it is working for you or not.
I know actually being in the moment and breathing and just concentrating what is at hand is the hardest thing to do when you are going through some sort of anxiety.
Right.
And that is the challenge and also the reward.
So we combine this practice with a very, very powerful technique called journaling, which all of us are aware of. But most of the time when we do journaling, we are taught to write about the day or our emotional catharsis on the page. But the technique of journaling that I use is solution oriented. We call it grapho journaling. It begins with me asking you a question, which is slightly triggering, slightly pointed, but also solution oriented. And then before you respond to the question, you go to the S-stroke practice. You do it for 1 page. It allows your mind to get into a flow. Then you walk into responding it with handwritten old school style. So by the time you use that handwritten style to respond to the question, automatically or through the process, you start feeling calmer and the connection becomes even more powerful. Go and sit in that corner that we have created in your house and do the S-stroke practice and ask yourself this question before you start is, if I choose to be grateful about 3 things, what would they be? So many times people force themselves to feel grateful about things that they should be grateful for, like their husbands and the kids and the things that you're really, really angry with. They're like, no, but I should be grateful. So they try to mask it and it doesn't work. When you're genuinely grateful in the moment, the connection that you feel with yourself and the chemicals that your body produce relaxes you, and that whole process becomes really, really helpful. Now to do that, we pick up 3 things to be grateful for. We begin with one general thing. What is that one thing I'm generally grateful for today? And write whatever comes to your mind. Second one, ask yourself, which human connection that I feel grateful for? And that could be anybody. That could be an old friend. That could be the house help who has been with you throughout the tough times that we are in. And the third thing is pick a small thing. The fact that you have this corner in your house or your favorite cushion cover or anything that you think you connect with as a stuff, as a thing.
I think doing it properly and authentically is the key, and giving them a fair chance, a good amount of time to actually see the difference.
We can give ourselves 20 minutes a day for our mental well-being for sure. And begin by asking the question, step into the S-stroke practice or the Kama Sutra practice, and end with doing the journaling. It's like one loop where you can calm your mind down and then, have this conversation to start your day on a great note. We are doing a 21-day anti-anxiety journaling workshop as a social initiative. So anybody who would like to be a part of it, they can join in. All the details are mentioned on the website and on the Instagram page.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aditi. It was such a pleasure speaking to you, and I'm sure this practice will be helpful to everybody.
Thank you for having me.